Am I the asshole for not tipping after overhearing what my waitress said about me? I, 30F, was at a restaurant last night with my mother. She was meeting my boyfriend's mom for the first time. We're punctual people, so we got there about 30 minutes before our reservation. We got seated with no issues. It took the waitress 20 minutes to get to our table even though the restaurant was pretty empty. Right away I could tell that she didn't want to wait on us. She didn't greet us with a hello, she just asked what we wanted to drink. We told her, and I noticed that she didn't write our order down. It took another 15 minutes for our drinks to get to our table, and they were wrong. It's hard to mess up a ginger ale and a vodka soda, but she did. My mom pointed out that she didn't order a Pepsi, and the waitress rolled her eyes, took my mother's glass and disappeared. I excused myself to use the washroom shortly after. I had no idea where I was going, so I went to the entrance to ask one of the hostesses there. While I was walking up to the server area, I overheard my waitress talking to some other hostesses. She was pissed that she had to wait on a black table, because they never tip well. My mother and I were the only black people in the restaurant. She wasn't even whispering when she said it either. I wasn't stunned, but her lack of effort started to make sense. I interrupted their conversation, and I asked where the bathroom was. I didn't let on that I had heard what they were talking about. When I got out of the bathroom, my boyfriend and his mom were already seated. My boyfriend and his mother are white. When my waitress saw the rest of our party, she did a 180. Her service was stellar. She took notes, told jokes, and our water glasses were always filled. She didn't make another mistake. Because the night went so well, I decided to treat everyone and pay the check. She gave me the machine, and I smiled at her while I keyed in 0% for a tip. She didn't notice until after the receipt had been printed out. By that time, all of us had already started to leave. She tapped me on the shoulder and asked if I had made a mistake on the bill. I told her I didn't think so, and looked at the receipt. She asked if there was a problem with her service, and I said her service was fantastic, but since I was a black woman, I don't tip well. Her face went white, and she kind of laughed nervously, and I laughed as well. I walked out after that, but my boyfriend's mom asked what had happened. I told her what I had overheard, and my boyfriend's mom said that I should have tipped her anyway because it shows character. She seemed pretty pissed at me after that. My boyfriend and my mom are both on my side, but I'm wondering if I should have just thrown in a $2 tip? Comments from netizens. Comment 1. Not the asshole. I worked as a server for 6 years and I would absolutely not expect a tip for behaving like this to customers. She probably does not make much in tips, and this industry isn't for her. It's so inappropriate to ask people why they didn't tip you. This is so embarrassing. Replay 1. Agree. When I worked in service, I noticed the trend of who tipped and who didn't tip. The trends didn't just apply to black people. But I still gave the same level of service to everyone, even if they were regulars that I knew for a fact would or wouldn't tip well. Giving bad service to someone doesn't make my day any better or make me any more money. I'm being paid to be there and provide service, so that's what I did. Enough people tipped well enough that I was generally happy at the end of the day. Replay 2. Was in the industry for 7 years. Fuck no, she doesn't get a tip, and I'm usually the lady in the comments screaming about always tipping your servers. Racist service does not get a tip, and honestly that server needs to be fired. Are there stereotypes that we see in the service industry regarding tipping and race? Yes, and y'all, there are negative tipping stereotypes about every single race, including white people. Servers as a group will have bad things to say about everyone. It's sort of part of the culture. It's not good, but it is true. But do you say those private racist stereotype completely inappropriate thoughts and then actively treat people like shit because of it? No, you do not. That is majorly beyond just a sad but true part of restaurant culture into full-blown racism. Replay 3. It's crazy. I never really hear about it happening besides from people online, but my friend I grew up with worked with this woman at a restaurant in our small town. Apparently, a couple tipped her like a couple bucks on their meal, and this waitress wasn't happy about it, so she chased them to the parking lot starting yelling at them and name-calling. She even followed them to their car and the cops were called. She did get fired. It's a small town, so everyone in town knew what happened and she couldn't get another job anywhere. I cannot even fathom why anyone would do this. Replay 4. I do remember one hellish table when I was 18 and had only been waiting tables about 3 months. The family was celebrating the grandfather's birthday and most of the family was pretty nice, but the grandpa had obviously been drinking a lot, and he was pretty nasty about the fact that our establishment didn't serve liquor. He sent his entree back twice. When dessert was ordered, he asked for a chocolate milkshake. When I brought it, he claimed he ordered vanilla. When I brought that, I messed up again. He ordered strawberry, and how could such a cute white girl fuck up such a simple order? Well, now I'm angry, but I'm not trying to ruin this otherwise nice family's experience. I was sure he was famous for doing just that. I made one of each flavor, put them in to-go cups and brought them to the table with the check. Told him those were all the flavors we had for milkshakes. Only 3, it was the 80s, we weren't doing 31 flavors of milkshake, and I had their check. The milkshakes were for me and happy birthday. Everyone else had been finished eating for some time, and his daughter had been looking like she wanted to crawl into a hole and die. He left me a penny under a full overturned water glass as a tip. The daughter came back in and gave me 2 20s, though, and said her dad does this every year. I guess I was the first waitress that didn't give him a racist show. FFS. I had assumed he was suffering from dementia and couldn't remember what he'd ordered.